Showtime! The Capital G Show starts right now.
What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. First off, I'd like to thank you guys for making my last top 10 Yu-Gi-Oh! Hierarchy such a success. My like to dislike ratio was astounding. Definitely thank you for the support. So I've decided to do another one. A lot of people asked me to do more top 10, so I figured I'd go ahead and hit you guys with another list. If you're on the West Coast by the time you see this, it will still in fact be my birthday, so shout outs to me for, being born on June 18th and all that good stuff. This time I have chosen to do the top 10 notorious OTK FTK decks and Yu-Gi-Oh! History. For this list, I've only chosen decks that primarily and often only viable win condition was an OTK/FTK, so you won't see any Burn or Exodia decks on this list, and the deck has to actually win, it cannot tie, so that pretty much eliminates the Life Equalizer. Number 10, the Exchange of Spirit OTK. Despite the fact that your opponent technically got a turn, and that's only if you're considering entering your draw phase to immediately lose the game, getting a turn, this makes the list for being without a doubt one of the most consistent OTKs to ever be released in this game's history. Luckily for competitive players everywhere, this is the only deck on the list to never actually be legal in the TCG Advanced format. Number 9, Last Turn, which initially looked to be a pointless and needlessly overcomplicated win condition, soon became the bane of duelists across the nation, as people circumvented the activation cost using things like Wall of Revealing Light and Inspection, and of course your opponent can summon a monster thing using special summon blockers like Jogan the Spiritualist. People started racking up easy wins left and right. I think this deck reminds me a lot of Hat. It looks like shit on paper, but damn, it's effective. Number 8, the Shadow Priestess of Ohm FTK. So the Ohm FTK is basically what happens when you take the cores of Dad Return and Diamond Dude Turbo, and then you decide, you know what, I really don't feel like giving my opponent a turn to play. With Dark Magician of Chaos and Dimension Fusion both being legal at the time of the release of Phantom Darkness, and of course the much needed consistency and speed additive that was Allure Darkness in multiple copy fashion, this was just one of the easiest and dirtiest decks to be spawned during a dark and forsaken format. Number 7, the E-Hero Electrum / Gustav Max OTK. This deck is what happens when somebody has way too much time on their hands, using a combination of Hero Fusion support and trap cards, and of course one of the most ridiculously hard and impractical Xyz to ever be created. We were left with a horrible abomination, made even worse by the fact that it's one of the few win conditions on this list that creates an infinite loop, so it doesn't even matter how many times your opponent has gained life points throughout the duel, or even if the monsters that you summon during the process die. You can just start over, rinse, wash, and repeat. Number 6, Demise OTK. The sole reason leading to the first limitation of a ritual monster in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Demise OTK is also one of the few decks on this list to have alternate ways of reaching its win condition, primarily focusing on getting out Demise itself, torching the field, and then using a combination Doom Dozer, Megamorph, or Metamorphosis for Cyber Twin Dragon. Even though the Heart and Soul was a ritual monster, this was an insect-infested deck with absolutely no aspirations of fair fighting or making the game last more than one turn. Number 5, Fish OTK. By far the greatest accomplishment known to the fish type in this game's history is this deck. Unfortunately, it's also the most degenerative. There's no two ways about it. Ancient Deep Sea Big Fish is, well, I guess an ancient Deep Sea Big Bitch to deal with. Having a built-in safety net that dodges Effect Veiler didn't really help in the matter either. Armed with both the Colossal Armory Arm OTK for opponents who want to summon big monsters in front of you, or the Bryonic Sea Dragon Lord OTK for people who wanted to set face downs in front of you, Fish OTK could handle a multitude of situations, getting the job done every single time. Number 4, Cyberstein OTK. Without a doubt the original OTK Terror to be released in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Everybody knew, and it was pretty much a given, that when Cyberstein hit the field, shit was about to get real up in this bitch. A card that caused so much havoc and chaos that after winning its first and only Shonen Jump, Upper Deck acted 100% independently of Konami, who actually owned the game, and outright emergency banned the card. The first in Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG history. Number 3, Gishki FTK. Not only is it the sole reason why One Day Apiece is limited today, but it's also such a potent deck that it led to the second and third ritual monsters to be limited in the TCG. Gishki FTK was such a disturbing deck to play against because for years there were failed attempts of players trying to make Empty Jar a viable option, and then suddenly Trolls finally got their golden opportunity to play a super consistent deck where the win condition was decking your opponent out. Gishki FTK also ranks so high up on this list for its effectiveness and originality, but also because by far it has the highest execution time to actually win a duel with, which means you can make your opponent wait in agony and become filled with angry rage while you think to yourself, yes, let the salt run through you. Number 2, Frog FTK. When you come in second at Canadian Nationals, you get to be ranked this highly on the list, and I'm personally biased towards the deck because, I mean, come on. It's filled with easily the cutest collection of monsters out of the 10 decks that I chose from. Frog FTK wasn't just dirty, it was also fairly easy and remarkably cheap, so much so that every single card in the entire main deck could be found in rare or common form. Truly an homage to the troll on a budget. Honorable mentions go to the Benkai OTK, number 1, Magical Scientist FTK, the one and only You Get No Turn deck, and I don't even think that there's a valid argument to be made against it. Without this deck, Catapult Turtle would have never seen competitive play ever. Using various unconventional ways of special summoning monsters onto your side of the field during your first turn, such as Last Will, Reasoning, Gillosaurus, and then of course the at one point unlimited Dart Magician of Chaos. Yeah, wrap your head around that. Scientist FTK was a true embodiment of everything unfair in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! So, thank you guys for watching as always. If there were any OTK decks that you feel like are just egregiously not notorious, let me know. Maybe there's something I missed. And if you have any ideas for top 10 lists that I should do, leave those in the comment sections below. Thank you for watching. Subscribing makes life happy.